was, yeah. Hi, nice to meet you. Oh yeah, Liz. I was looking over at you. I was like, I've never met before.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to do that a lot.
With all the last shots. Are you based in LA? Oh, okay. Are you Mike?
Yeah.
Mike?
I'm over here.
Hi, Nicholas.
That's my mic.
Yeah, hi. Hi, this is.
How's it going?
Not too bad, man. Got some static on the mic, you said?
Yeah. Are you guys getting it too? Or
I don't know. I'm about to
you're
test
about
it.
to test
Yeah, he let me know, so I'm like, well.
Do you want a sound check? Sound check. 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3. You're good? All right, sweet, man. Can you test for me real quick, Pat?
Just let me know when you're ready, brother. Check, mic, check 1. Check 1, check 2. Yeah, I don't hear any fuzzy either.
Lisa? 1, 2, 3, testing. 1. Sweet.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Santa Fe County Sheriff's Office. My name's Denise Womack Avila. I'm the Public Information Officer, Media Coordinator for the Sheriff's Office. I just wanted to come out and welcome you today. The Sheriff is going to be coming out to talk, as well as 2 other speakers. He will be taking some questions afterwards. So if you could think of one question from each agency that you'll have to ask, because he won't be able to touch on everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Regina Reese, and I'm the Communications Director for the City of Santa Fe. And for those of you who are not from in town, I wanted to make sure I gave you the spellings and the titles for who you're going to be hearing from. We have 3 presenters today. It will be Sheriff Adan Mendoza, A-D-A-N M-E-N-D-O-Z-A, and he is the Sheriff of Santa Fe County. We will also have our Santa Fe City Fire Chief, Brian Moya, B-R-I-A-N-M-O-Y-A. And we'll also have our Santa Fe City and County Film Commissioner, Jennifer Labar Tapia. Jennifer, common spelling, Labar, L-A, capital B-A-R, hyphen, Tapia, capital T-A-P-I-A. Jennifer will be speaking to the impact in the Santa Fe community, the film community, and our condolences to the family of Gene Hackman and Betsy. Fire Chief will be speaking to being the first responding agency and any determinations regarding testing the air at the home. And Sheriff Mendoza will be speaking to the investigation as the lead agency. So they will be out shortly, but again, we do ask that since there are a lot of media agencies, if you can start off with one question per agency, and then we can keep round robbing. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Is that better? Yeah, thank you. Larry. No. I messed you up. be continued.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Like, CCUs or like, cool. Got it. The tag team. I'm on CBS Network. Yeah, and I'm amazing. Yeah. I was tired. Right. Tired enough. Which you know much better than I do. Doing that mental math, it really like shocks me into right. But even like for me, it's like 7 a.m. That's sort of top. Landmark West. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely not.
Yeah, does this work? Okay.
Right.
I'm a bad. I feel like this is all of my emotions on my face.
Hey, yeah, occasionally. Were you out here yesterday? No, I wasn't.
Good. Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here today. I'm Jennifer Labar-Tapia. I'm Santa Fe Film Commissioner. Today, Santa Fe and the film industry mourn the loss of two extraordinary individuals, Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa. Gene was not only a legendary actor whose talent shaped generations of storytelling, but he and Betsy were also longtime residents of our community, deeply woven into the fabric of Santa Fe. His talent is for generations to come with all of his storytelling. Gene's legacy in film is unparalleled, spanning decades of unforgettable performances, including some that are filmed right here in Santa Fe. His work inspired countless artists, actors, and filmmakers, and his impact will continue to be felt for generations to come. But beyond Hollywood, Gene and Betsy were our neighbors who embraced the Santa Fe lifestyle and embraced Santa Fe as their home. Their kindness, generosity, and love for this city made them more than just icons. but they were a part of our family. Our thoughts are with their loved ones and all who knew them and admired them. We join the film industry, their family, their friends, and all the people of Santa Fe in honoring their memory. Thank you.
And now Santa Fe County Sheriff Adán Mendoza will speak, along with Fire Chief Brian Moya from the Santa Fe County City Fire Department.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sheriff Adán Mendoza, Sheriff for Santa Fe, New Mexico, Santa Fe County. On Wednesday, February 26, 2025, at approximately 1:45 p.m., Santa Fe County Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to 1425 Old Sunset Trail, where Gene Hackman, 95, and his wife Betsy Arakawa, 65, and a dog were found deceased. An individual arrived to perform maintenance on the residence, became concerned after receiving no answer, and contacted neighborhood security to conduct a welfare check. Security then checked on the residence and observed Mr. Hackman and Miss Arakawa on the ground unresponsive through a window and called 911. Deputies arrived and gained access to the residence, where they observed Mrs. Arakawa deceased. They continued the search of their home and located Mr. Hackman in a separate area of the residence, also deceased. A German Shepherd was also found deceased, and 2 other dogs who appeared healthy were located on the property. Deputies then secured the scene and notified the Criminal Investigations Division. Due to the unusual circumstances of 2 decedents in the residence, there was a concern for scene safety. Santa Fe City fire personnel and the New Mexico Gas Company were requested to the scene to test for carbon monoxide or other foreign elements. The scene was deemed safe, and approximately 9:30 p.m., a search warrant was issued and executed on the residence. Now, collected from the residence, from this search warrant, there were 2 green in color cell phones, 2 bottles of medication, 1 bottle of over-the-counter Tylenol, My Request medical records, and a 2025 monthly planner calendar. Those items were secured from the residence for evidentiary purposes. The Santa Fe Animal Control Division worked with family to ensure the safety of the 2 surviving dogs. Investigation personnel worked diligently throughout the night and morning to process the scene for evidence. It should be noted there were no apparent signs of foul play. In the early hours of Thursday, February 27, 2025, Mr. Hackman and Ms. Arakawa were transported to the office of the medical investigator. An autopsy was performed. Initial findings noted no external trauma to either individual. The manner and cause of death has not been determined. The official results of the autopsy and toxicology reports are pending. Just today, I spoke to Dr. Jarrell, the pathologist from the New Mexico Office of the Medical Investigator. This was at 2:00 p.m. today. She advised that there were several tests that were submitted to be expedited. She revealed to me the following information. Both individuals tested negative for carbon monoxide. An initial interrogation was conducted of Mr. Hackman's pacemaker. This revealed that his last event was recorded on February 17, 2025. I was advised that a more thorough investigation will be completed. That'll conclude my statement. I will take a few questions, just so everybody knows, this is an active investigation still. I'll take questions.
Sure. Based on what you know about the conditions of both the bodies, who do you believe died first?
That's a very hard thing to determine. Even with the assistance of OMI, we asked that question because that's a question that we want answered. That's a very hard determination to make, and I don't think even OMI could make that determination based on the initial autopsy. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair, in that 2025 planner that was mentioned in the search warrant return, were there events scheduled for either member of the couple for the coming weeks?
Again, that'll be part of our investigation. We will look and try to gain access to the cell phones. We'll be analyzing cell phone data, phone calls, text messages, events, photos in the cell phone to try to piece a timeline together. One of the things is in an investigation is we try to piece a timeline together, usually before the event happens, and that gives us a lot of information. But in this case, it seems like we're doing a reverse timeline. We're doing a timeline from the time of death and the autopsy and the results, and we're going to start working our way backwards. We're going to do both, and then hopefully make a determination what may have happened to both the individuals. Sasha.
When you were saying the last event on the pacemaker was February 17th, would that kind of give you a sign that's probably the day that he died, so they've been dead for about 10 days?
According to the pathologist, I think that is a very good assumption that was his last day of life.
Sheriff, is there any surveillance video? Why are the pills such important evidence?
I'm sorry?
The pills.
Okay.
The finding of the pills being such important evidence, and could that have been part of the cause of death?
Well, of course, they're important evidence. These are things that I think are important for the pathologist and OMI to consider to try to make a determination what the cause and manner of death are. So all that information is collected not just for us, but we can provide that information to the pathologist and OMI so they can try and make a determination of what the manner and cause is. And I think that's important for OMI also.
Sheriff, was there any surveillance video, and is that helping you to determine what may have led up to this?
That's a good question, and that question's been asked. So, I respect the Mr. Hackman's and Ms. Arakawa's regard for privacy. I think everybody here understands that they were very private individuals and a very private family. There is no surveillance, as we know of right now, in the interior of the residence or the exterior of the residence that is going to help us determine a timeline or events that happened.
Do we think she was outside?
Sir?
Tom Hansen with CBS News. Have investigators been able to get into the obtained cell phones?
Not at this time. We have them in our possession. Those were collected yesterday. It's going to take a process. We do have software, and we may have to reach out to other agencies for assistance to get past, if they're password protected, to get past the passwords and gain access to that information. So this is some other things that it's going to take a little bit of time.
Sheriff, is there any information on the dog?
There are names, Michaela McClellan from the Albuquerque Journal, there are names on prescription bottles. Do we know any idea as to who was taking any of those medications?
Yeah, due to HIPAA, I don't want to release who the medication was prescribed to or what the medication is. I think there's a HIPAA concern there, so I won't release that information.
Sheriff, do you know the nature of the pills that were found by what were those pills there?
What were they? Yeah, I think I just answered that question. I think I stated I'm not going to release the actual medication or who it was prescribed to due to HIPAA questions. Sir? I think that's a question for the pathologist. It's with that information, I'm assuming that at the time of death that they were negative for carbon monoxide, which means to me that that is possibly ruled out. That's another conversation I think that we will have with the pathologist and OMI to make sure that that's still not indication, but it sounds like that's ruled out.
Were there any signs that Betsy was under any form of distress?
I don't have that information. Again, I didn't personally see the individuals, so there's no indication that there was any stress. There was no indication of any of that I can tell or that I can share, unfortunately. Hold on. Anybody else? I know you've asked a question, ma'am.
Sheriff, was there any significance to the space heater being located near her head that detailed any more information about how the dogs died?
No, I don't think the space, now that we've ruled out carbon monoxide, unless there's something else that comes back in the toxicology report, that we have to look, we're going to look at everything, right? We have photographs, we've documented everything that was close to the body in the room, then we'll look at that a little closer. But right now, there's no indication that has anything to do with it.
Were you able to determine whether they fell or not? Like, was there any trauma evidence on the bodies to suggest a fall?
No, I don't think there was any indication that again there was no trauma indicated on the body. I'm assuming if they would have fell or injured themselves or a head injury or brain injury, that would have been discovered by the pathologist. So I'm going to say that they weren't.
Just to follow up, that you saw the sunglasses and cane on the floor, according to the reports. That would seem to go against that.
that's up to the detective and OMI to work out. I'm gonna take 2 more questions, and then that's gonna be it, sir.
Can you say what the space heater was powered by? Was it a gas powered or electric powered space heater?
I don't know that information right off the top. Sir.
How long do you think we'll have more concrete answers of what happened?
Again, we're waiting for the autopsy results and the toxicology. The doctor, the pathologist, shared that information, which I think some tests were expedited, and so she shared that information with me because she thought it was relevant to the case and important for the public to know. I don't know. I don't know when the cause and the manner will be determined officially, or when the toxicology results come. I'm assuming the pathologist will wait for the toxicology to come back, so that'll help her make her decision on what the cause and manner is. It could be months or 3 months or longer, in my experience. One more question.
When is the last known contact with either Betsy or Gene?
Again, that's been one of our challenges because of their privacy. So one of the challenges is trying to determine that timeline. I think the event of the pacemaker gives us an idea, but we're gonna sift through the cell phone records. We're gonna go through the planner. We're contacting workers, maintenance workers, family members, security. We're gonna be talking to security. It's a secure subdivision. There's in and out that I believe is documented. So we're working with them to try and determine, when the last contact was, and that'll help us put together the timeline. So thank you, everybody. I hope this answered some questions. And again, if we get more information, we will release that. I know there is concern and interest in Mr. Hackman and Mrs. Arakawa, and I just appreciate your patience. Thank you.
He skipped over the fire chief.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay.
Which one? That's right.
Lucas.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oops.
And the law.
So we'll just use our cameras. So we're not doing.
Never mind, Patrick has his.
Help?
And they're doing the fire chief inside.
Do I come?
So.
Fire chief's coming. Fire chief's coming.
Fire chief?
Gotta put everything back.
Sorry.
Somebody left their glasses here last time too, by the way. You got 1 second, I gotta put this back.
Yeah, you guys can take care of it.
Please take everything
So
apart.
I'll just start with, because of the toxicology report.
Give him a moment to get.
Well, I was just going to let everybody know that I'll ask any questions. I just thought the fire department wasn't involved as much because of the toxicology report of the person. But you guys can ask me some questions.
What's the scope of the questions you're going to answer?
Let me just introduce you real quick.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and take some questions from Fire Chief Brian Moya. The fire department was the first responding agency. When they entered and saw one of the deceased, they called the sheriff's department and waited for the sheriff's department to respond. So the scope of what Fire Chief can speak to is specifically that initial response, not the investigation, but the testing when we were talking about the carbon monoxide. So Chief will be able to answer those questions as far as what has his department tested, how often, and when.
Yeah, Chief, talk about that.
Yeah. So what we started with on the day of the event was we wanted to make sure our people were safe. So we did use our monitors from the Santa Fe Fire Department. We monitored throughout the house the whole time while we were looking for the second victim. And we made sure that it was safe for the Sheriff's Department and the Fire Department to be in the house during that time. So that's what we were mostly monitoring for. To add to that, yesterday we did go back again of the request of the Sheriff's Department to do another monitor to make sure that they were safe for them to do it again. So we did not pick up anything on our monitors, the Santa Fe Fire Department's monitors at all.
As first responders, you often, come to these scenes. We know 2 dogs survived. Any indication on how they were able to survive more than a week?
Yeah, so the door to the back side of the house was open from what my paramedics told me. So I think they were able to go outside a little bit. I don't know about food. That was not part of what I was able to see or do.
Water?
That I don't know either. But they were able to go in and out of the house through an open door in the back side of the house.
Chief, given that the firefighters were first on the scene, I know that the 2 dissidents were found in different rooms of the house, but do you know how far away they were?
I don't know how far they were. They didn't give me that information.
And then, this might not be up your alley, but do you know what tests are being run on the dog who died?
So that would have to be asked to the sheriff. Yep. Yeah, that's out of my wheelhouse, sorry. So we checked the whole house. They told me they went through the whole house. It took them about 30 minutes. So we made sure that we went through the entire house the whole time, made sure, carbon monoxide's low. So they checked for that. There was not finding anything. So everything we had on our monitors were clean across the board as long as we were there.
So there was no gas leak?
That I was aware of, that from our monitors, we didn't find anything per the fire department's rules.
Do you know if Gene Hackman wore like a life alert or some sort of device that he could press if he were incapacitated?
Nobody told me that information from what I gathered from my team.
From what your team did gather, was there any indication that the pills that were found there was an attempt to take those pills?
Yeah, that wouldn't be part of my team's investigation. Our team saw that there was deceased, there was no life-saving measures, and that was what we did as our team. We didn't have anything involvement in that part at all.
Are there any other gases that would be in a house that could have the effects of like carbon monoxide?
Yeah, so we have our meters do multiple readings across multiple spectrums. I won't go into that details, but none of our meters picked up anything in the house. So all of our meters were 0 across the board, and so that was clearly done, and that was mostly for our safety too. Was the sheriff's department was there for a long time, the fire department was there for a long time. We wanted to make sure our people were safe and there was no hazards in the room. Yes, ma'am.
You said that the doors were open. Would we be able to find any indication of carbon monoxide if the doors were open still?
So if there was that big of a leak, we could have happened. I think the problem was we don't know how long they were down for. So it could have been, I would probably, in my instance, if it was a propane house, maybe the propane would have ran out by then, but it was natural gas. And, that's a metered thing in that neighborhood, so it could have ran. So per our determination, I don't think that our meters would have picked something up if we would have still had a leak in there.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
Like, is it possible they could have been exposed but it not show up later on?
That would have to be pushed to the sheriff's department. I wouldn't know that detail. I'm sorry.
Was it your firefighters who found the deceased dog in the closet?
The sheriff's department found that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we don't know if that door was locked or unlocked?
We don't. That was all in the sheriff's department. My team, they went in, found the first victim, waited until the sheriff's department arrived. They stepped back out. Then they found the second victim. Once we did our determination that the fire department wasn't needed besides doing the gas detection, then they released us from the scene. So we were not there more than maybe an hour and a half total, and then the fire department was released back to work.
The warrant mentioned mummification for these victims. Was the decomposition similar for both, or could you tell that one may have died before the other?
I will let the sheriff answer that question. I'm a lot more restricted on the HIPAA rules than the sheriff's department is, so I would have to let the sheriff answer that question.
Can you just describe what mummification means, though? Like what that looks like when you...
So if somebody was down for a long time, their hands could be blackened and stuff to that nature. They could have no eyes. Their eyes could have been gone by that time if it's been that long of time ago. There could be no smell. It could happen. So my indication is we don't know how long they were down. My team's main focus was to find out that they were deceased. There was no further stuff that we could do. If any opportunity to bring them back alive, that was not happening, and so we wrote it up that way.
You've been in the fire department for a long time. Can you explain to us or educate us how long does it take when someone has passed away that the mummification or the mortis start, just so we can get an idea?
It would be over 2 weeks. Yeah, I've been with the department a long time, so yes, it would be that. Any other questions for me?
Do you have any information on the square footage of the house? How many rooms, bathrooms, that kind of thing?
All that my team told me was it was very large. It was not an easy house to get through, and it took a long time to find all the rooms. So it was not something a normal house most of us live in that can be done in 5 or 10 minutes.
The 911 call, the caller from the 911 call said that he couldn't get inside the house, but he said that the door was open by the time your team got there. Was it a different part of the house?
So I don't know if my team, the door was unlocked, so the door was closed. So my team opened the door, saw the victim, stepped back out, and waited till sheriffs arrived. So he might not have tried the door like we did. So that's what we did first. Our team was safe enough that they thought it was safe enough to enter the home because they could see through the window. So my team can assume that they could enter when they open the door. We tried it before we pry. The fire department are a little more manly. We just break doors down. We tried it. It opened. They saw them, and then they stepped back and waited.
So you said that the doors were open, so the dogs were going in and out, so the door would have to be open.
So there was a different door farther down in the home that was cracked open that the sheriff's department found farther in the home, not the main front door.
Do you plan to investigate any of the other residencies in the area to see if there's any other concerns with carbon monoxide or anything?
So what we will do is that would be a 911 call. So somebody would have to call our home, or let us know that we would like to be checked out. We do that. That's part of what we do as the fire department in Santa Fe. But they would have to call us. We wouldn't just knock on somebody's door and say we'll check up carbon monoxide, but they would call for us. Any other questions for me? Yeah, thank you guys. Sorry I didn't answer earlier. I figured you didn't want to talk to me once the toxic caller report came out. So thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Great question. Thank you. I think you got something.